All right, here we go. I already loaded, I got one more to do and then today's, and we're all caught up. So you can access any of these. And so there's some days that you may want to turn on any of my workouts and just do the warm up. You will feel better if you'll just do the warm up. So today's mobility. So what do I have? I have my little pole. See, I put tape on the end. That's all. It's just a nice sturdy pole of an old, it was still a good pole. So that's what you need, and a chair. Okay. Other than that, for today, I'm barefooted. Barefooted. Yes. And you know what I'm going to do this pole starting off with? I'm simply going to, I'm not going to go way up with it or anything like that. I'm going to do a sway, and I'm going to put the pole down low on the low back. Okay. So I'm going to go low back, and then my palms are going to push against the pole. That tiny little motion while I'm standing here, dropping my shoulders, taking a big breath through my nose. And see, I don't have to do much. It could be, you could do this standing anywhere. Just don't go super wide. Go right here and just simply go like this. See this? See, I don't want you to do a big, big movement right now. I want you to lift your heel. That's it. You drop your shoulders. So I'm purposely dropping my shoulders. I'm pushing against the pole while I drop my shoulders. Okay? Now, those of you who have a significant forward head issue, rounded shoulder issue, this little move right here that I'm doing, you're going to feel it in your shoulder. Okay? Drop your shoulder, take a big breath through your nose. And do you see what I'm doing? I'm pretty much just shoulder width apart with my feet. But here's what I'm not doing. I'm not bending my knee. I'm swaying and lifting my heel. I'll turn here so you can see these are warmer pants today, so they're a little bit longer. So you can't see me, but I'm lifting my heel. I'm pushing gently into my toe box and lifting my heel as I sway back and forth. And every time I shift, I take a breath and I say rib cage up, and I say shoulders down. And if you have your hands open with the palm pushing against the bar, that in and of itself is a good stretch for some of us with shoulder issues. Drop your shoulders again as you lift your heel, See, I'm going gently into the toe box, gently into the toe box. Now I'm going to slide my leg up and pull the toe on up to my shin. Then I'm going to step back, and then I'm going to slip my heel forward. I'm going to drop my shoulders and say rib cage up. You know why? The minute that I had you shift so that you could bring your heel forward and your toes pulling up towards your shin, the minute I did this, I'll do it again right now. The minute I said bring your toe forward, you know what some of you did? You sunk like that. So I'm saying when you're here, before you shift your weight and you bring your heel forward, you gotta pull that rib cage up and drop those shoulders. And then you go to your heel and you really pull the toes up, but you don't cave on me. Okay, then you come back, big breath, shift, okay? And you keep your legs pretty straight. The one in the back taking most of the pressure right now is a little soft, but it's not bent. And then I come back and spend a little time doing that. Now I'm going to take and I'm curling my toes under, and I'm putting a gentle, gentle pressure on that foot that I just went into, where the top of the foot is on the floor. You don't have to try to put it on there much. And you're going to be amazed at how tight the front of your ankle and the front of your shin is. Okay, right now is crucial for your shoulders, because you know what? Some of you are wanting to let go of your hands right now because you're starting to feel it in your shoulders. So see what I'm doing? I'm going to bend my knee. I'm going to get on target, and I'm going to put the top of my foot, bend it right under, and just be there. Just take breaths. Hold your breath. Hold your stance. Breathe through the nose. Drop the shoulders, and you're having a gentle pressure on the top of that foot, and then come back. And some of you it got your attention. I know it did. I know it. We're going to do some more of that. So I'm going to do one more. I want you to keep your shoulders down right now. Keep your shoulders down. Say rib cage up. Shift. Bring that foot under. And just be there for a bit. Take a big breath in through the nose. Drop your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. You're pushing forward with the palms of your hands. Okay, really go down as far as you feel you can. You should have a gentle stretch coming right up through the tibialis anterior. That's the front shin bone, shin muscles. See how I'm going to go like this? And then I'm just going to bend that supporting knee a little bit. Take a big breath in through the nose. Drop your shoulders. Press just gently. Press just gently. Just do it. Take a breath and come back. Now drop those hands. You're just going to be going like, I didn't realize that I was so going forward so much, but we do that. So that's why I take the time on a lot of these Mobility Wednesdays to have you pay attention to what's going on with your shoulders. Okay. Now I'm going to bring the bar right on top of my head. See that? And I'm going to step across, and I'm going to drop my shoulders. So see, now I'm going to not grip it. I'm going to slide my hands all the way to the end. See that? I'm going to cross over. I'm going to say rib cage up. I'm going to bring those hands back in, and I'm going to slide them all the way back out. And so basically, I'm just trying to keep that pole on top of my head. Yeah, I know. Drop your shoulders. Just step across. See, I'm just stepping across midline, and I'm just kind of going to lift the heel in the back. Then I can drop the heel if I want to in back, or lift the heel. And then I'm going to push my hips forward while I keep my hands right here on my bar. Keep your chin tucked. Come back. So why am I spending so much time doing this silly little move? Well, when I step over like this, then when I go to my toe in the back and I push my hips forward, wow, does that open the front of your hip? Okay, so you're pushing the hips forward. Drop your shoulders. Take a big breath through your nose. Drop your shoulders again. I know. You can wave to me. See, and I can loosely just run my hands back and forth. See that? And I'm pushing that hip forward, pushing that hip forward. Then I'm going to bring it down. I know it. You felt it, didn't you? That should tell us something about where we're at with the rounded shoulder whole thing. Okay? So now I'm going to take one hand, and I'm just going to put it behind my head, just like that. And with these 2 or 3 fingers, right there behind the head, see that? I'm going to push my head forward. So as I push my head forward, I'm going to put my pole right here, and I'm going to do little tiny presses on the top of my foot. I hope you're following this. Some of these little nuanced moves, sometimes I almost need to be there almost, but I think I have such an astute class that I think you'll follow what I'm doing in all my craziness. Okay, so I am taking 2 or 3 fingers. I'm pushing into my head while I push back on my head. And I'm going from toe down or foot down to foot down. So I'm just going to go back and forth, and I'm opening my elbow as I do this foot down position. Okay, see, I'm just rolling that ankle so that I can put the top of my feet on the floor. And then I come back, put that hand down, then change. Okay, this is a very important little nuanced move. And if you're doing all of this with me, you should just be feeling like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was so bent over. Okay, so now the bar's here. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take 2 or 3 fingers, put it right behind my skull. See, I'm dropping my chin. That's number 1. Taking a breath, number 2. Dropping my shoulders, number 3. Opening the elbow. Now push in with your fingers as you push back with the back of your head. Now I'm going to do that same little dance with trying to roll the top of my, put the top of my foot on the ground. I'm just going to go back and forth. I'm just going to hold it a couple of seconds while I keep my chin tucked. So if I came in right now, I'd check your chin position, then I'd check your shoulder position, then I'd make sure you're breathing so you don't pass out. Take a big breath, and you just go back and forth. Okay, push the back of the head, push the back of the head, push forward with your fingers, push forward. One more little change. Just do it. Push, drop the shoulders, take a breath, and then come back. And then drop that hand down, okay? So I did all of that just now for Kay. It was her fault. Okay, here's our little bar, okay? Now, what do I have here? I have my little balls. See these? These are weighted balls. It could be the basketball that we've used before. Remember that? It could be a can of food that you have in your carry bag, okay? There is great benefit in putting your foot over a cylinder or a ball, okay? I'm putting it over this ball, and I'm just rolling it back and forth. I'm keeping my shoulders down, and here's the deal. This is going to turn into quite a big balance work. So it's that way right now, but guess what? What if, keep your shoulders down while I'm rolling the ball. So I'm going to do it on both feet so I get a feel for how it feels to load one leg, roll the other leg. See how I'm rolling back and forth? I go to the heel, then I pull it all the way back, and it'll walk a little bit, so you have to keep pulling it back towards you. Drop your shoulders. So now I've done it on both feet, correct? Take a big breath. I'm going to go back again with this foot. So now, this might get a little dicey for some of you, because now I'm going to turn, and I have to keep my balance, okay? So you need to focus on something in front of you. Keep your chin tucked. Take a big deep breath. Some of you are gonna start holding your breath. Don't hold your breath. I'm trying to pull this up so you see what I'm doing. I go to the heel, then I go all the way to the toes. See that? And then I turn. See that? Keep this knee soft because it's taking all the pressure. You do not want to put pressure into the rolling foot. Okay? So if I'm turning, taking breaths, correcting my posture, while I'm rolling this little ball back and forth to the heel and then to the toe, what's happening here? Yeah, you should be feeling it starting to burn a little bit right now. That's what you want to do for really good balance maneuvers. See this? Now, bring that foot down. You should be heating up. Should be heating up in the hip and in the leg. Okay? Now I'm going to switch. So I'm right here. My knee is soft. Okay? My supporting knee is soft. This one I'm going to go all the way. See how I point the toe down? And then when I come back, I point the heel down. See, until you can get your ball rolling down so that you can do a toe point, and then you roll it back and you put your heel down on purpose. Yeah, don't let it roll out from you, but you're pointing. Then I start the gentle rotation of my upper body. So this is a very measured, compound move that we're doing right now. And we're doing it by doing a one-leg stance pretty much. My knee is soft, my shoulders are down, I'm pointing, then I'm going to pull it back and put my heel down. And it's a big stretch. So if you have feet issues, Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, just, your feet just don't work really well, man, you got to start rolling a ball. Okay? It could be rolled up anything, socks. I find these to be almost like perfect thing. We've used deflated balls before, which that will work. See how I'm pushing on the heel? And this is all heating up now. Yeah, right there. It's really heating up. Yeah, drop your heel, drop your heel. Take a big breath. Say rib cage up. See, I just keep rotating and try to hold balance. And after you've done it to where this is really heating up, that's when you switch and go to the other side. You don't have to do 10,000 of these things. Just do a couple of minutes where you're just moving gently in that kind of a movement pattern. Okay, here's my balance pad. So a balance pad, a weighted ball. I have 2 weighted balls. I'm going to use them in a minute. And a chair. And my little bar. See that? So I noticed Tina's on today. I'm going to go from the side of the chair because I have my bar. This is the gift of stairs. Okay? So somebody would say, well, that's a chair. Yes, but what's the movement pattern that I'm using? What is it? Yeah, it's the same thing you'd have to do walking up a mountain, walking down a mountain, climbing up onto a boulder, or climbing stairs, correct? So you're barefooted. Hopefully you're barefooted today. If you're not, that's fine. Hold your pole over the ground and gently use it. So here's the deal. We're going to go tap, tap, tap. See that? So here's what you're going to be probably feeling. When I turn, let me get up here, and I put my toe up here and I go tap, 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 and I don't push into the pole, I merely have the pole hovering over the chair, the floor. So I'm right here. My elbows are kind of down like this. And I'm gonna go tap, 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 lift up, bring it down, shift, bring it up, tap, 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 bring it up, put it down. Do you realize that if you retain or build up or are able to do a hip hinge to a 90 degrees like this, if you're able to do that and stay on balance, see how I'm shifting? I'm not leaning in. I'm shifting. I'm putting the pressure on that leg. I'm bringing the leg up and I'm going tap, 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 bringing it down. Shift, bring that leg up. You're going tap, 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 bringing it down. Shift. And you see how I have the pole? You might not be able to see it because I had it on the other side. But I'm holding the pole like right here. It's not on the floor. If I need it, I'll put it down. But I want to shift, drop my shoulders, bring that leg up, soften this knee, and see, we did all that we did before this to get that leg and this leg ready to do this kind of steady balance maneuvering. Then I put it down and I shift and I bring that leg up and I tap and I tap and I drop my shoulders, drop my chin, take a big breath, and then I put that foot down and then I shift. So a lot of times people will say, oh yeah, that's all leg and or whatever. Actually, this is a exercise skill in back extending. That's what this is. So that shifting, that shifting, that shifting. Okay, I'm gonna turn the chair around, put my little bar down, put my hands right here, walk into the chair. So the very front part of my tummy, right at my belly button, is pushing into the chair. And I'm going to hang onto the chair, push down, and then go into a little bit of a back arch. Some people will say that's an arch. It's actually a hyperextension. And it's one of the moves that if you tend to have wonky backs, delicate backs, backs that they get tight, it could be your hips or your back, but you want to press down and you want to press that tummy forward, loosen the hips, drop your shoulders, and really soften your knees just a little as you maintain on this back extension. And a lot of times when you have a tight back, I see people doing things to try to hit it, to try to get it to not be tight. And they're doing all kinds of, turns and I'm telling you, this is one of the ways that will help you loosen up in that back. Drop your shoulders, press forward, and then come down with your chin tucked, and then come out of that. And then we're going to drop down with my hand right here. I got my hand on the chair. I'm going to keep my chin tucked. And I'm going to just, like I'm trying to put my armpit down toward the crest of my hip bone there. That's all. This, you've heard me talk about don't displace your hips when you're trying to do a side bend. Well, this is all I'm trying to get you to do. Soften your knees so you're not locked. Drop your shoulders. Take a big breath. And then just try to get that armpit like down to here. See, that's a very different move than doing this. See, that's what people will think that they're supposed to be doing. I'm trying to address a whole different part of your back that's connected to being tight in your back. Okay, so I did the hyperextension, release, don't tighten, chin tucked. Then I went and just dropped, and just bring that hand down as far as you can right there. Take a big breath. Now is when you want to bring your shoulder to your ear, right up there. As I go down, I go shoulder to the ear, and then I drop. And to get yourself back up, see, I'm dropping my armpit to the top of my hip, and then I'm going to bring that shoulder all the way up to the ear. Okay, and then I'm going to contract in the abdominal muscles to get myself upright. That's how you do a side bend. And that's how you would do it if you had weights and turned it into a strength work. Right now we're doing a mobility work, okay? So now with your feet apart, knees soft, and I said at the very beginning, I don't think I did it on camera yet. I said I was going to talk about brain health. Well, guess what I've been doing this whole time? Yeah, every movement is always going to be giving a nod to brain health, because you've got to get your brain going in order to do some of these very specific moves. But what I did to help my brain be a little bit more like aware of what's going on, you probably haven't even noticed it. I brought my chair back on this side, okay? And I'm usually over here with my chair, but I brought my chair over here. So by simply changing the side of the room, by simply seat yourself in a different place wherever you tend to eat. Yeah, everybody likes to settle into their own little cocoon wherever they're at. You see what I'm doing right now? This is a very important move. I'm talking about brain health, but I'm standing here after doing some pretty big moves with my knees soft, and I'm just reaching from side to side. Okay, see that? I'm taking breaths through my nose. Okay, so normally I'm on that side, but I'm over here today. Okay, just by changing how you move around your house on a day-to-day basis, not all the time, but once a week, change things up, go a different way. It makes brain connections that aren't made any other way than doing that. So I'm going to keep my chair on this side because I changed direction. And I'm going to take my my little pad here now, and I hope that you're watching how I'm bending. Do you see what I did? I went down to pick this up. Did I flex my back? No, I did not. You go wide, you hip hinge, and you come down, and you grab, and you do whatever you need to do. Okay? Now, I have two of these weighted balls, a cylinder. It could be a can of food, a big old can of pumpkin puree. That would work, okay? I'm gonna step up here, and I'm doing all this with my feet bare because I want my toes and my feet to work, okay? When you put your feet, and everybody's has a little different issue. Just see what I'm doing right now? So even while I'm explaining to this, I'm working. I'm going into my toes, I'm raising my heels, and then I'm working my toes up and going into my heels. So I'm lifting my heels, then I'm raising my toes, then I'm raising my heels, so I'm shifting. So it's this shifting with my rib cage up, my shoulders down. So when I bring my heels up, I got to really bend my knees. Because if you don't bend your knees and you don't have a pole, I will tell you, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're going to over or under balance and you're going to like catch yourself. So it's those catching yourself on a balance move or just walking and your trip and you have to catch yourself. Well, it's that quick move of catching yourself that sometimes will make us very sore. So you need to know and be aware of this. So see, that's why I have my pole here. I'm bringing my heels up. I'm in a very spongy surface. Then I'm going to rotate back and I'm going to bring my toes up. And that's the hardest one. That's when you're going to really feel your back extensors because you're hip hinged. Keep your chin tucked, but don't cave. Bring those toes up and then go back into the toes and lift the heels. And you're contracting those calf muscles in order to bring your heels up. Then you rotate back. So people that want to stay and be on their feet, or their job requires them to be on their feet, or their hobby, maybe they're a dancer like Julia, a little bit of time spent on a spongy surface, barefooted, wow, that can pay big dividends. Because as I lift my heels and then as I lift my toes, it hits even different spots in my back, in my hips. Those of us with hips replaced and knees replaced, this is the work that we're doing right now. That's a crossover between fitness therapy and physical therapy, okay? And it's little moves. Okay, so after I've worked, I don't know, a minute, 3 minutes on something like that, and I keep trying to change, big breath. Every time I take a breath, I want to say rib cage up, shoulders down. That's just always. The minute that you say rib cage up, it's going to help you straighten up your back. Okay, so now I got my pole, and you see what I did? I'm not only on a spongy surface with my supportive foot, but now I am rolling around with my other foot on this ball, okay? That's a big deal, especially if you don't support yourself with the pole. As a matter of fact, you can give it a try. I find it to be very challenging if you're trying to roll that around very much. Yeah, and so you don't want to fall on this, but you do want to push yourself a little bit. So everybody's different. However, get that ball working for you. See how my foot is bare and I'm rolling it around? And I can get real big with my motions if I'm using my bar. But if I'm not using my bar, especially on this leg, because this is my hip replaced side, so if I'm gonna want to not use my bar, then my rolling gets very little. See? I know it. So these are these little, you're just peaking your balance maneuvers, your balance skills, your proprioception, coming out of a, oh, I overbalanced, that little jerk, okay? So now I'm gonna step to the side and then I'm gonna come back up, okay? So let's pretend we're on a curb somewhere, maybe somewhere like California. So we don't have to worry about stepping down into the snow. See that? I could make a joke here, but I won't. Okay, do you see what I'm doing? Do you see what I'm doing? See, I'm going like this, but I'm not putting this foot down by itself. I could do that super easy and stay up here. So what am I doing? Take a breath. Every time you breathe in through the nose, make sure you say rib cage up, shoulders down. In order to get this foot down, what am I going to do? I'm going to bend this knee and this hip 2 inches. in order to get that foot down. See that? I'm going to use this minimally. So it's on the ground, but I'm barely holding with a finger. Do you see this? Okay, don't drop your hip. So how I would watch that, I would come in and watch you do this. And I would want to see this hip bone level with this hip bone. Do you see? I bring my whole center of gravity down. So I'm basically doing a 2-inch single leg squat. Okay, it's not a squat, but you get my idea here. See, I'm not putting this down by dropping my hip, by doing that. See, there's a lot of people that are gonna do that. That's not what I'm doing. So I'm on this little pad. This is a powerful exercise, especially for those of you who deal with hip issues in many, many ways. Lower back. This is a powerful exercise. Do you see how I'm just keeping my toes up and I bring the bottom of my foot down by bending at the hip and at the knee? These are level. Okay? So I am feeling quite tight here. So I'm going to step off and I'm going to turn that toe out. And it totally releases that tightness, that was the heat that was building up from working muscle groups that don't get worked any other ways. Just turn your toe out. That's it. And then come back. So you're good to go. Now I'm going to step up. So don't step all the way to the edge. You're just a couple inches in. I'm not quite in the middle, because if I were standing here, see, I wanted to put this foot down. That's how I want to do it. So I'm using this lightly, like just with 2 fingers. See, that makes me have to use my hip, my leg, my knee, my foot so much more if I just have a finger touching right here. Okay, say rib cage up. Don't let the hips drop. You're gonna drop by doing a single leg beginning of a squat. See this? So my foot is right here. I'm gonna keep it in dorsiflexion, and then I wanna put the bottom of the foot down. I wanna put the foot down, keep my toe up. Take a big breath. See how I'm using just 1 finger on the rod? Yeah. Take a big breath. Stay forward. I always want to turn. Stay forward. Make sure your toe is up in an up position. Take a big deep breath. Yeah. And if this is hitting some of those parameters for you and you're sitting here going like, oh my goodness, well, this may be the one that maybe you need to do kind of regularly, you know, once a week. I change things up a little bit if you haven't noticed. Take a breath, say rib cage up. Take a breath, 2 more, we're there. Here we go. So I can tell you that I feel this a lot more in my knee replace side than in my hip replace side. Go figure. But that is a really good, you're dropping down on one side, but you're using muscles that you really don't use in the way we should to hit the weak areas when we have hips replaced, knees replaced, and or we have wonky hips or back issues, etc. So you see how I'm standing right here? See this? So my feet are wide. I'm standing over my little pad. See that? I'm going to hip hinge. I'm going to bring the bar right here to the knee. I'm going to hip hinge, and I'm going to come down with the bar right there. See that? Then I'm going to grab the bar. Since we have it here, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to turn to the side. And I'm gonna go up as far as I can. See that? I'm just gonna go from here to here. So that's a hinge move for my shoulder. I got my elbow on my knee. My back is very extended. You see how I'm gonna do this? My palm is down, and I'm gonna take a breath, and I'm gonna exhale, and I'm gonna really try to go, try to squeeze my shoulder blade into my back and go as far as I can. Then I come back, I take a big deep breath, elbows are on your knees. Here I go. I'm gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna go up as far as I can. That's it. Then bring it back. Keep your chin tucked. You're on all four corners of your feet right now. Back is very extended. Then I'm gonna take a breath. I'm gonna bring that arm up and exhale. I'm gonna try to squeeze that shoulder to my back as far as I can. And then I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna take a big deep breath. Put that bar on that pad right in the middle. And I'm gonna straighten my legs. I'm gonna drop into my, right into my legs right there. I'm not gonna stay down here for very long. Then I'm gonna come back, put my elbows on my knees, equalize, come up, take a big deep breath. See where we're at here. We're doing good. Now I'm gonna do two very, very foundational moves. And again, my chair's over here instead of over here. That's making my brain work without me even recognizing it. And that's probably a good thing that my brain works without me recognizing it, because, you know, we all have our issues, right? Okay. Yeah. Your brain could be checked out and you didn't even know it. Welcome to my world. Okay. So here's my little ball, so I don't trip over it. So I have two of them, so, you know, you can use one at a time or whatever. So now I'm going to address my chair, and I'm going to start here. And after I do this here, I'm going to go to the floor. You don't need to go to the floor, but if you can, yay. So I'm going to come here and just press my heel back. And from this point, I'm going to round my shoulders. I'm going to drop my chin. I'm going to bring my shoulders up to my ears. Then I'm going to go back into a straight back. So I'm going to round, open my shoulder blades with my heel pressing down. Open my shoulder blades, bring my shoulders to my ears. Take big breaths. Then I'm going to come back down and go into a flat back. And I'm still keeping my heel down, okay? Then I'm going to switch. Move the other leg back into place. You should feel your calves stretching. So now is where you're going to go. Shoulders up and rounded. Push back with your shoulders. Then go to a flat back. Elbows are soft. Keep your chin tucked. Okay, now we're going to lift the chin, but not right this minute. Here we go. Bring your shoulders way up to your ears, way up to your ears. Push down on that heel. Then come back to a flat back. Soften the elbows. Now, when you're in a flat back, heel is down in the back. I'm going to bring that chin up as far as I can. And then I'm going to turn and then back up. I'm going to turn and then back up as far as I can and bring it down. Bring that heel down and back. Yeah. Now let's do it from the table or from the chair. So now we're on all fours and we're going to go into a real cat camel. So way up, squeeze your shoulders to your ears, then come down and do that hyperextension, okay, of the back. The elbows are bend, and I'm gonna go way up with my chin, then I'm gonna cave and come way under again. Really go under, really go under, really go under. Take a big breath and go back into a hyperextension. Yeah, how's that? Good. Then I'm gonna back off. And since I'm already here, and again, if you wanna just continue this next part with your hands here, just stay here. You don't have to go down. But if you can, I want you to come right here. Put your hand down. Bring your knees down and under you and go all the way down to your elbows. Okay? So now I'm all the way down. And I'm going to go and touch the top of my head onto the floor. My elbows are right next to me, and then I'm going to roll to the top back of my head, roll to my forehead, roll to the top back of my head, roll to the forehead. Yay. So now I'm in this position, and I'm going to just fold. See how I'm going to come to the side? Now, if I were not wanting to get in the floor, I would just sit here and go and take my legs to one side. That's all. So I'm right here. I'm going to bring one arm right here. I'm going to keep my shoulder intact. Don't let your shoulder come out of the socket, so to speak. Push it down. Bring this shoulder right here. Okay, get ready. Take a breath. I want you to exhale and bring that hand back as if I had my hand on your hand and pushing right there. Yes. Then open that arm and swoop down and around. See that? So now I'm right here with my elbow down. My knees are right here. See that? See that? So I'm going to come from right here and come up into this position. So now my knees are both bent. This is my hip replace side. This is my knee replace side. This doesn't give me any problem to sit here, okay? I feel it in this hip that's starting to tighten up on me, but it's not painful. Then I'm going to slide my elbows down and do the very same thing. I'm going to get myself in a different position with these knees very bent right there. See that? And I'm going to come right on down, put my forehead right on my hands right there, and drop my shoulders. So a big deep breath. Then I'm going to bring my elbows under me. I'm right here. I'm going to bring my knees up. See that? Then I'm going to go this way. See that? I'm going to try to go the very same thing on the other side. So from this move right here, from here, see this, to here. Okay, and we do this a lot when we're down in the floor. I do it a lot when I'm on the chair. So if you're in the chair, you just bring your knees to the side and then you go to the other side. So if you're not in the floor today with me, then do that while you're sitting in the chair. Just go back, roll to one side, bring your knee down and back. See that? Okay, that's a very important maneuver right there. Okay, so in this position, then I'm going to bring my arm up right here. I'm going to bring it right here. Remember that? Take a big breath. Keep your chin tucked. Now you're going to take a breath. You're holding it, and your shoulder blade, if I were with you right now, I would have one hand here and one hand in the back of where your shoulder blade is. Because as you're breathing and you're pulling your shoulder blade into your back, now I want you to exhale. So breathe, exhale, and really pull that hand way back there. Way back there. Hold for just a couple of seconds. Then you reach it out and you swoop it down. And you go right into those elbows. So I'm right here facing I'm gonna go down, put my forehead on my hands, then I'm gonna come back, take a big deep breath. Then I'm gonna push and come back up, and I'm gonna bring those feet together right here. See that? Toes are up, toes are down, and what I want you to actually do is to open at the hip. Open at the hip, okay? So when you open at the hip, I want you to bring those toes up, okay? And I want your hands to be right here on the front of your shins. So as you're opening your hip right here, take a big breath, drop your shoulders, bring your toes up as far as you can. You should feel the musculature right here, okay? Now I want you to stay out there, and then I want you to put those toes down, and I want you to lift your heels. They won't lift very far, but rotate back. You can do this sitting in the chair. You can do this whole thing sitting in the chair. Heels, feel the muscles right here in front, and then toes and lift the heels. Yeah, you're right into the toe box, lift the heels. You're opened right here, you're working. Take a big deep breath, drop your shoulders, pull those. I'm just doing 3 times. See, I'm bringing that toe all the way up here. So all that heel toe stuff that we did at the beginning of class is building into this. Bringing those heels up and then coming back down. So I did it 3 times, and I've been holding myself out here the whole time. See that? Yeah, you should be feeling it now for sure. Okay. Now you're straight out. We're coming right to the end of class. I know Tim's going to come on and say, we got 5 minutes, Tim. Okay. Just do this with me. Look at here. See this? You can do this with your grandkids. They'll have fun, depending on what age they are. So some of you cannot sit in an L sit because you just can't do it, okay? I don't want you to bend your back. If this is impossible, then you got to bend your knees, okay? That's okay. Once you've done that, establish where you can go. The minute I would test you by putting my hand right here, and as your legs go out, if I feel the slightest bit of rounding, then we stop right there, okay? So once I go here, see this? So you act like an airplane, okay? Humor me. So I'm gonna put my feet down because I can. If you need to keep your feet here, that's fine too. So you're gonna come here, you're gonna go all the way to the side, and you're gonna roll across the fleshy part of your butt. See that? And if that's a problem, do it on this. Just put it right under your little butt. It should not hurt. But I want you to do this kind of a move for so many reasons, okay? I go all the way down to my elbow. You see how I'm swishing my head, my brain, my hearing, everything, and I'm going from here to here, and I'm keeping my legs straight if I can. If I can't, I'll keep them bent, okay? And I'm turning as I'm rolling. So this is a very modified way to help start to reset your vestibular system in your inner ear. See how I'm turning? And I'm rolling around the fleshy part of the butt. If it bothers you in any way, do this on the little pad. So as I'm doing this, I'm turning my head from side to side, keeping my chin tucked. Take a big deep breath, and then stop the action. And if things are spinning, I would say, yay, it's working, okay? Because see, we do it down here because we don't have very far to fall. That was supposed to be a joke. I don't think Kathy found it very funny. She might. She's a pretty good sense of humor. Okay, do you see what I'm doing right now? I got one knee bent. I'm hip hinging. I am not rounding my back. Drop my chin, and I'm reaching for my big toe. That's all I'm doing. See that? Then I come back and I switch. This is Mobility Wednesday, y'all. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to safely get you to explore body motion that you don't normally do, but I'm trying to coach you through proper movement that won't hurt a replaced joint, a back, a shoulder, and I'm trying to get very important movement in your day, at least while you're in the class. Okay, so I'm going to come to the side. See, so it's very, so if I ever found myself laying down, or I got hit, or whatever, I fell, I could get onto my side. I could get onto all fours. See that? I can put my toes under myself, because I've worked at doing my toe dorsiflexion and plantar flexion today. Then I just tighten my tummy and I come into a down position, like I'm getting ready to hike a football. And then I come up. And oh my gosh, I don't know about you, but I feel better. So I hope you were able to follow that with me today. So a lot of brain work there, and God knows I need that.